we replace a door handle on a storm door or any door, but this is a storm door. So as you can see, the spring broke inside here, so it doesn't completely close. But as you can see, the return spring is broke. So it does unlock a little bit, but it doesn't latch, so the spring is broke. So we're first going to reproduce the problem, confirm that it is broke. You need the new door handle. This is for hall and closet, but got this from Amazon. Sludge. It's okay. Again, usually I like commercial duty, industrial duty, and military duty. This is none of those. This is just an average door lock. You can get any type. This is the same one I have on the back door, so you can get any type of door you want, but I just wanted to standardize. Usually if you're going to replace one door, might as well replace the back door as well, or both doors, just to be consistent and to be standardized. Because usually what happens is you'll replace one door. Usually we replace one door, and then what happens is you'll replace this, and then you want to, and then like a few years down the road, you want to do the other door. Well, they no longer sell this because the manufacturers like to change things every few months. So that. Some safety goggles so crap doesn't get in your eye. I'm going to Phillips number 2. This particular one because the holding screws, and this is for the striker plate. Phillips number 1. Famous Locite. Love this stuff. I use the medium strength. I was tempted to use the orange or the red, but medium strength. Some gloves, some cleaner just to clean up before we clean up. Last but not least, I've got a canvas or a tarp. You could use an old towel, but this is primarily to knee on and to set up your little workspace. So that's a canvas painting cloth. Okay, first step to the door is unlocked. We have to take out these screws here. But if we press on the door, you can either have a buddy on the other side press on the door. So if we press on it, it's not latched. I mean, it's latched there, but it's kind of not really working. So I want to go ahead and lock the door here. And that way, if we move this handle, we can put a lot of force, because these screws, we're going to have to put a lot of force on them to break them loose. So we're going to lock the door. 2. Phillips number 2, and these are probably really on there pretty well, so I want to put a lot of force to break them loose, but I want to anticipate I push a lot of force in, a lot of force, because I don't want to round the heads. I don't know if that makes sense. Actually pretty easy, so I didn't need to have to use much force, and we're just unscrewing this loose a little bit. I guess we can take it all the way out. To undo this, the other knob's going to fall off on the other side of the door. You can hold this, but now we're going to unlock it, and we're going to take off the striker plate. Just to open it up, you have to turn it a little bit. 2 Phillips screws. Again, I'm going to put a lot of force when I take those off. And what I do is I put the put the door between my knees to stabilize it. Again, if you have a helper on the other side, that helps. But I'm going to put a lot of force to unscrew those screws. I'm putting a lot of force on there just not to pop up, and they don't seem to be very tight. And then the top ones as well. Yeah, these are pretty easy to get out. I'm just using hand tools. Not really using power tools on this. And then this all should come apart. So this pulls out here, and then we can just throw this away. It's kind of sad because that couldn't be recycled, and then this just pops out. And then we're going to take our cleaner, we're going to clean all around there. If you had an air blower or a vacuum, you could vacuum all that out. But yeah, here's the old one, and so the spring broke inside here. So I'm just going to take some Windex and then wipe this entire door down. You could probably do this afterwards as well. Door there. I'm going to go ahead and paint that now. Got some spray paint here, high performance enamel. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that so it doesn't further rust. You don't really need to do that if yours is not rusting, but this is a good time to check it out if there's any issues. So I always take a paper towel and clean the inside of that out, just so it doesn't gum up. But we went ahead and spray painted this inside here. We don't need to replace ours on this, but and then here's the screws, and then a shim, and then of course the instructions. Okay, first we're going to put this in. And we're going to put it so when the door shuts, it latches here, squeezes in, and then obviously closes. You could put a little grease on here if you really wanted to, but now the screws that they gave me are wood screws. This is a metal door, so that means we have to use the old screws. It's a wood screw, and then on the bottom is a machine screw. I don't know if you can kind of see that. So we have to use the old screws. They're not in bad condition. I'll probably just clean them up a little bit with some little cleaner, and then we'll put some Loctite on this and then screw this in here. Obviously it goes in like this. Okay, before we put this in, I want to go ahead and dry fit it with this. So the ones with the screws face inside. Ones obviously not with the screws face on the outside. And it can't go like that because it's going to hit the door. So it's got to go obviously both knobs like this. So we're going to first dry fit it in on each side, and then this keys up with this first stop here. So it's going to be something like that. So it's going to be like that, and then of course when you move it, it's going to not move this. So I'm going to assume, because there's a groove here that this fits into, if you had an extended door, you could use there. It all depends on. It's actually two modes here that you can use. One's extended and one's standard. I think this is a standard throw, but yeah, this is. So I'm just going to fit this other on the other side here, and then you have to put that in first. Of course, I've got white paint. So you take this piece, which is keyed, and then I'm just going to dry fit it on, and it may take a little bit of wiggling. That piece is keyed, and then it just goes that. I don't know if you can kind of see it. So I'm just going to lay that there. If you had a helper, you could have somebody hold that. I'm just going to lay that there temporarily, and then I'm going to Loctite up the screws. So here's the threads all gooped up. I'm using blue gel. You probably have to wipe off when, and then go ahead and take the other side and then just screw it in. It's got all Loctite on it. I was debating about using the red, but someday eventually I do want to take it off. And just put it in the other hole. And again, I want to hold the other side. And make sure it goes in easily. If it doesn't go in very well, then that means it's stripped and it's not. It goes in really smooth and easy. If you're fighting it, then you don't have it threaded in well. These are quite long. You could probably use a power drill on this or a power screwdriver, but I'm not. So again, I want to put Loctite on those screws in this little plate here. We're going to put Loctite on the machine threads, not the wood screw threads. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, if you didn't have Loctite, you could probably use fingernail polish or glue, but I always have Loctite on hand all the time for everything I do. We're just going to by hand, well, with the screwdriver, and make sure it goes in smooth. If it doesn't, that means it's cross-threaded. I'm not going to go in all the way, I'm going to do the other one. You want to go nice and straight on. I'm just kind of evenly putting it in there. And then this is a little sloppy, so I'm going to tighten that as well. I want to tighten it. Let me first see if it works. Okay. And then I want to kind of center it on the mount. And then I'm just going to snug it in. And then not super tight because you don't want to strip these threads out. Hold the other door. If you had a helper, you could hold the other side of the door. Maybe 20 pounds of pressure, 20 foot-pounds maybe 15 to 20, because we have the Loctite in there. And do the same with the plate here. This is pretty tight here. Now I'll take a rag and wipe off the excess. This is a number 1. Could have probably made a number 2. I just don't want to strip it or a little paint from last time. You could have probably squirted some lithium grease in there, but you can see it works now. So here we go. Nice spray and return. I normally don't do that because I don't want to break it. So that finishes your project. Yep, and then the moment of truth is to lock it. Okay. Open it and then we'll just let it shut on its own. That didn't feel like it shut. No, it didn't. It didn't lock. That means it's not long enough to throw. Here's the final door. Wife's happy. Good job. But yeah, this is just the door. When it shuts, that was a good force, but so just that short because but if you have the door open all the way and let this cushion hydraulics, yeah, it does shut pretty well.